tonight's the night. With the conclusion of Dexter New Blood just finishing yesterday, we thought it was only right to rank every single season of Dexter from worst to best. Hey everyone, it's Elliot from It's Gone Viral, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. The journey of Dexter has been an interesting one, with many highs and many lows of the show, and now it is time to discuss everything that has happened in the 9 seasons of Dexter being on our screens and decide how every season stacks up. Now of course we're going to try and do justice to all of the seasons, but if you have a different list, please let us know down in the comments below. We are really interested to see everyone's opinion lies. And we are of course going to be talking about the plot and seasons in detail, so if you're not up to date or want to avoid certain topics, here is your official spoiler warning. But just before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe and click that bell to not miss any more future rankings and celebrity moments. But now it's time to grab our sheets of plastic and our blood slides and discuss which is the worst and the best season of Dexter. Now, coming in at number 9 is going to be Dexter Season 8. Now, this is going to come as a surprise to absolutely nobody, as this season is pretty much disliked by most Dexter fans because of its lackluster and confusing ending. The season itself was fine with the brain surgeon and the plotline with Vogel, but we cannot forgive the ending at all. Not only the confusion of Deb dying off screen after being told she would most likely be fine, but then the absolute bizarre decision to kill Dexter off by driving him into a hurricane. The choices that were made were simply bizarre. Now, yes, the fact that New Blood answers some questions we have and makes it so that Dexter's story isn't finished in this bizarre way, but the execution of this season was so disappointing we still can't forgive it. As for the most part, it feels like a normal season until the last couple of episodes, where it comes down to feeling rushed and extremely confusing. In summary, this season could have been fine, but the writing absolutely ruined it for everyone, and there is a reason why this season is pretty much bottom on everybody's list. Now, taking the number 8 spot is going to be Season 6. This season was heavily based on religion, which was such an interesting idea, as where does religion fit in with Dexter's motives, and how does faith and the concept of God work with this character with no emotion? However, this season really still does just fall flat. Now, starting with the positives, the Doomsday Killer premise was incredibly interesting, and it was nice to watch the incentive ways in which this killer kills. It wasn't just another dead body found, they had some great cinematic moments, what with the horses running through the town with the body parts and the Angel of Mercy trap that the lady was part of. It was really interesting. Also, the friendship that Dexter had with the brother Sam was interesting and well written. It seems that throughout the season Dexter has gained what we call a friend, so that was written nicely, but unfortunately there were still so many problems with this season. Firstly, the twist, if you can call it that Professor Geller was dead all along was incredibly obvious, and most fans guessed this a quarter of the way into the season. And then when it finally revealed Travis's character swap to the religious maniac who will do whatever he can to just came out of nowhere, and just a complete switch in character personality. But also Dexter made some bizarre choices as well. His character arc for the last couple of seasons is handling his dark passengers so that innocent people and his family are in danger. That was kind of all thrown out of the window in this season, and Harrison was nearly killed for it. And we are not even going to start on the subplot about Deb being in love with Dexter. No, just no. Stop it. Now, moving on to number 7, it is going to be Season 5. Now, after the season ending of Season 4, we could not wait to dive back into Dexter and see what and how he deals with everything in this season. Now, honestly, we really enjoyed this season. Yes, Jordan Chase and his lackeys were a little bit of a cliche and generic villain, but after Trinity, that's kind of what we needed. We didn't need another big bag with his complex motivations, as that would have really complicated things a little bit. And we really do enjoy the dynamic between Dexter and Lumen. They had some amazing scenes and relationship together, and it felt right. However, we feel the reason why this season went a little bit wrong was at the end, with the tease that Deb might finally find out what Dexter's been doing, but instead lets him and Lumen go without question, and then the choice for Lumen to leave at the end of the season, never to be seen again, just slightly annoyed us, as it was abrupt and a lackluster way to end quite a strong season. They did a lot right, but unfortunately, again, the ending kind of ruined what was already good about it. Now, coming in at number 6, it is going to be Season 3. An absolutely fine season, but definitely the weakest out of the amazing so-called first 4 seasons that really made Dexter stand out as a phenomenal show. The season, as I said, was fine. Absolutely fine. But it wasn't anything spectacular either. Miguel Prado and Dexter's relationship was great, and it was an interesting dynamic, as Prado is one of the only characters to learn about Dexter's dark passenger, but sometimes the relationship was a little bit off and seemed a bit forced. And one thing that we can't understand is how Dexter didn't understand that Prado was incredibly unhinged. Dexter should have been able to clock onto that much sooner, as the audience sure did. And for the villain, the Skinner is unfortunately probably the most forgettable villain in the show. Don't get us wrong, this season isn't bad, but it is just not as good as the rest of the seasons that came before and after it. Now, number 5 is going to the newest addition to Dexter's journey, the brand new Dexter's New Blood. Now, honestly, with this just finishing, we could talk for a while about this season and everything about it. This season was absolutely fantastic and was an absolute peak in Dexter until the last 15 minutes of the last episode. Up until then, the characters, the story, the setting were all nailed to a T for the most part. With Harrison succumbing to his dark passenger, the villains with Kurt and Matt were gripping, well written and interesting, with Kurt probably being one of our favourite villains throughout the series. Honestly, the first 8 or 9 episodes of the season were phenomenal, but the ending of the last season just kind of once again threw it all away. Dexter killing Logan is probably the biggest sin for us, as there was absolutely no need for it. Dexter had very clearly stated that he was going to be fine, and the evidence was circumstantial and not convincing enough for him to be sent down for it. And then the bizarre decision to bring back Batista and have him on his way and let the audience get excited to see the reunion, for us to never see the end result, it just felt like such a horrible tease. The fact that Harrison within 10 minutes goes from somebody who ruins a kid's life, who broke a kid's arm, who tried to stab 3 other bullies, and was very on board with being with Dexter and sharing their dark passenger with him, for him to turn around and say, I want to be a good guy who doesn't need this passenger or his dad, and then to kill Dexter for good this time. And the idea that Angela in 3 days did what the FBI couldn't do in 15 years with the Bay Harbor Butcher. It just seemed forced and rushed, and we think that that sums up the last episode. Forced and rushed. However, it is still a phenomenal season, and it is well worth watching. The ending again does raise some questions and does knock this down the list a couple of places, but in kind of a cathartic way, it is still kind of a nice send-off for Dexter, if you kind of ignore some of the obvious problems with it. So, the brand new edition New Blood is coming in at number 5. Now, number 4 is going to be Season 7. This season was a gift compared to the train wreck that was Season 6 and 8. Season 7 started to dive into the new relationship of Dexter and Deb, now that she knows that he's actually the Bay Harbor Butcher. It was a great payoff for Deb, and her character in this season is probably the best it has been. It was also worth noting that the side characters in the plot were great as well. Hannah served as a fantastic little mini-villain, but also a worthy partner for Dexter, and seeing their relationship change and bloom was great to watch. Isaac Zerko, or Volk, was a great villain and played the part he needed to without it getting messy from too many characters. And the tension of LaGuerta finally closing in on Dexter only to get killed by Deborah at the very end was such a phenomenal moment and is one of the best highlights of the entire show. We absolutely love Season 7. Now, coming into the final stretch, taking that bronze space and coming in at number 3, it is going to be Season 2. Now, Season 2 was a fantastic continuation of Dexter, and exactly what Season 2 needed to be. Sergeant Dokes' character arc about not trusting Dexter really was fantastic, and following both of their journeys throughout the season was an absolute treat. The dynamic between the two was unnerving, and it definitely made for some great high-tension episodes. And then with the explosive ending in this season, if you'll pardon the pun, was incredible, with Dexter finally being caught, Dokes being right, and Lila then killing Dokes once he's been captured and chained up, then him getting framed for everything, Dexter killing Lila. It was all really well done, and it is definitely worthy of the bronze spot. And taking the silver spot is going to be the season that started it all, Season 1. Straight away we knew that Dexter was going to be something different, and we knew that we would fall in love with the mystery of Dexter and his story, and we absolutely did. Learning about Dexter and his life before being thrown into the plot of the ice truck killer was incredible to watch, and then all of the amazing plot twists that came throughout this season. that the killer was not only Deb's doctor and fiance, but that he was also Dexter's long-lost brother. It was honestly all incredible to watch and definitely had us hooked from the start. Then with the fantastic side characters as well, with Rita, Dokes, Batista, Masuka, Deb, the entire cast was fantastic, the writing was absolutely fantastic, and this was an unforgettable start to everybody's favourite serial killer and the journey that it was take us on. But bringing home the gold and coming in as the best season of Dexter of all time, without question, it is going to go to season 4 for one word and one word alone: Trinity. Now, Trinity is the best villain to date in this show, and John Lithgow's portrayal of this incredible adversary is what makes this season memorable and without question worthy of the crown. He is written to absolute perfection and is acted incredibly. His range is next to none. Not only are you immediately caught up in Trinity and what he is about, but then every episode it gives us a little bit more and a little bit more to question and get invested by. Then when you find out he's a family man and living a double life, that you get this phenomenal cat and mouse chase once that Trinity learns that Dexter's real name and what he's about. It's honestly kind of hard to praise this without just either repeating ourselves or stating the obvious. But season 4 is when everything is at its best. The writing, the acting, the dynamic, the twists, it is all 10s out of 10s across the board. And that's not even mentioning the bombshell that was the final episode. With Rita's shocking death and Harrison also now being born in blood as well, this season was just a masterpiece and without question is the greatest season of Dexter of all time. And guys, there it is. Thank you all so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Once again, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to never miss a future video. And please also don't forget to leave your opinions on your comments in Dexter in the comments section below. We cannot wait to read them. But that is it from us today, guys. Thank you again for watching It's Gone Viral, and we shall all see you next time. Take care. Bye for now.